pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Minutes of the last meeting.
I guess the only thing I want to make sure of is that we are going to go over that policy to just clarify that we do have permission to, you know, like we're going to go over it later on to make sure that we're done.
Second reading.
Yeah. I still strongly feel that I had I had the right to forego the second hearing where the only parties involved were the board itself. There were no outside entities that would be taken, you know, it was only us. So I still feel that that was okay for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any corrections in the minutes. I think they're good.
All right.
Do you need to make a motion in these?
Well, how are we gonna do that? Because
We never really, we always took minutes, but we never, did we pass them?
I think you technically would have to, but in this case, I wasn't here, so I couldn't second it, and I'd have to abstain, so.
Well, we can make a motion to accept them, can't we?
I can't vote.
He can't.
So I vote on it myself, where it's just the committee?
Well, the difficult piece, just as Mr. Brown has stated, is that he wasn't there, so he'd have to abstain from the vote as well. So in these minutes, it's the minutes for public record.
Okay.
I just maybe show for the record that if Mrs. Cyre wants to approve, that Mrs. Cyre approves the minutes. That would suffice, I think, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Public comment. Policies DHE.
In review of some of the policies in the past, we had found that there were a policy that was tabled, which is the one you have in front of you, BHE, school board use of email. There are also two other policies that were to be referred to the technology committee. I haven't gotten information back from the technology committee on those two policies, so you don't have that in front of you. And then there were also two other policies that we had looked for some legal counsel regarding. We haven't received information back on that. So those policies are still pending, but what you have in front of you today is this policy, school board use of email, which has been tabled. So this, I believe, has been tabled for a while, and so will of the
So is this
board.
page 1 your recommendation?
Page 1 is the actual New Hampshire School Board Administrator, New Hampshire School Boards Association sample policy. And from that policy, the Wakefield School Board policy BHE was drafted. So what you can see is what's recommended by the New Hampshire School Board Association. And then the next page is what is being proposed for the Wakefield, as a Wakefield School Board policy.
Who come up with that first part, Mr. Tursi, you?
No, sir, this was here before I came on board.
I like this one better.
Hmm.
Because this one, I don't like the words likely. Because that just means, you know, the board business are likely to be regarded. It's by law that it has to be regarded. So this is, I don't know, I think I like theirs better.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Do you recall reviewing this policy? Maybe you could give me some background on it.
I think this was,
I don't, to tell you the truth.
I think it was before I got elected.
Okay. So it's new though.
Mhm.
It's new to this subcommittee.
Mhm.
You know what, this is from past standards of the old board.
Yeah, I have a
This,
book.
I like this one
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Because we were told that they were all private, even though they originated,
Okay.
and even though they originated with,
Okay.
they were told that it was private information, and that even though it went to a number of people and became public, that it was not part of the public record
Okay.
in the past. So I like that it says that if it, do you have any input on this?
I like the sample from New Hampshire School Board Association as well. It's very clear, specific to what the expectations are. I also like the first sentence in general, that the board encourages its members to not communicate to each other via electronic communication. And that's,
Mhm.
I think that's an important statement to have.
Mhm.
Do you want to make a motion to,
Well, we really don't make motions.
all right, so do you want to bring this forward for first reading?
Right, we
To
can-
replace current?
Well, I thought we were changing that also.
This?
No, first. First and second reading.
Well, until we do that, we can't. That's the next one.
Yeah, that one's coming up.
Well, we can, so we can just put replace current, to replace current?
Well, no, we'd probably we'd probably have to do first and second till we probably should bring that policy up in the next policy committee, subcommittee meeting.
Yeah, we have that on the agenda
have
for
it here
tonight. We
today.
can make those can go again to the,
We can move that forward tonight and not have to deal with the issue again.
Right.
So,
uh,
would you be okay with adopting this school board one instead of the one
Yes,
we
he
have?
said he would. He likes the sample one better.
I like the sample one. What I would recommend, though, is that this is, I do think you should make a motion to approve a policy at the subcommittee level, pass it to the full board for review, and then the full board can make a motion to approve.
But do we really need to make motions within the subcommittee, or just get a consensus?
Isn't that what you kind of do, like with facilities? Like facilities, like I read in the minutes that Ralph made a motion to do something. And you made a
Right, and then
motion to
it
do
was,
something.
yeah, but then, you know, I think we should probably clarify that. What, I mean, because technically, the subcommittees aren't the, what's the proper, I mean, it's the full board that actually approves this.
Yes.
The subcommittees are making recommendations to the full board. And then the full board acts on the recommendations of the subcommittee.
So maybe we should make a motion to make this our recommendation,
Can do that.
just so it's in the record for the minutes.
As long as it's understood that the full board needs to approve.
Sure.
Right.
So I think that we can
Okay.
motion to recommend to full board.
Right, the sample from the New Hampshire School Board Association of policy BHE,
Yep,
and I'll second that.
okay. Was that clear, Brandy? Did
Yep.
we confusion on that?
Yeah, you made a motion to
And bring forward.
bring forth policy to
BHE to the full board.
full board.
Yep, for board review.
And that, for clarification, that would be the next board meeting, not this evening, the
No,
one that
not
follows
tonight.
this. Right,
Right.
okay.
That'll be, will that be 11? 11,
It's
Yeah.
moving along, isn't it?
it is, I don't have my calendar on me, 11, 3, 2?
Six.
11, 6. And the time goes by.
That's your first.
All right, and we have policy BGB.
This is a current policy that we have in place that we requested to bring back to this committee from our last meeting for review, specifically regarding the need for a second reading.
Why do they give a 2-week limitation? Like, if, is that for concerned groups to come forward?
When I read it, that's how I interpret it. I'm not sure what the intent was, but the way I read it is so that members of the community can also express their opinions on a policy prior to it being approved. So the way I interpreted this is that if it's vetted through this subcommittee 2 weeks prior to the full board approval, then you've met that 2-week requirement. Because it goes to the next board meeting, which is 2 weeks after this subcommittee.
But how do we get it out to the public or these groups or individuals that these are the policies that are being reviewed by our agenda?
Yep, our agendas are public documents.
So
and
they know
supporting
that-
documents go along with it.
Okay,
So this information would be available prior to the full board, where it can be discussed at the full board, or public can make comments at the full board. And if the full board feels that the public comments should be taken into consideration to the extent of revising the policy, then the full board would bounce it back to the subcommittee to vet it and make those changes as necessary, and then it would go back.
But this is gonna actually be the 20th, because the 6th will be transportation and facilities.
Well, no, because we're
Policy.
gonna, it won't be a policy meeting we have to wait for, it's gonna be the next full board meeting. So we're gonna be able to put it in people's packets for the 6th.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. We're gonna make recommendations today. People will have 2 weeks because of the agenda and the minutes, or the agenda and the
Mhm.
announcement, and then we'll vote on it on the 6th, so it gives 2 weeks.
All right, yeah, I'm thinking of policy coming out of that. All right. That's good.
so how do we have to reword that? Do we have to be clearer on that? Or is that just our interpretation?
Well, it's completely up to the subcommittee as to what you'd like to see. The overall concerns, is what I see, is that the sequence will take place at least 2 regular or special meetings of the board. Because it doesn't say in here specifically that you have to have 2 readings prior to a vote. But the way this wording states is that it has to take place at least two regular or special meetings of the board.
Now, is this considered a special meeting?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what I was gonna say, because down on the second paragraph, if you will, it's at least 2 weeks from the meeting at which policy proposals are first placed on the agenda.
Correct.
The agenda of what? The
That-
agenda of the subcommittee or the agenda of the full board?
Maybe we need to clarify that up in paragraph 1, that maybe 2 regular committee or special meetings, or 2 committee, regular or special meetings, so that they know our clarification of a special meeting is a committee meeting.
Well, I think you could word it that will take place at least 1 subcommittee meeting and 1 full board meeting.
That's good, well,
Mhm.
that's much more clear.
Do we put or special meeting in there as well, in case it's an emergency procedure that we have to in place?
Well, that's where I don't necessarily know I don't think you need to have special meeting, because if you call a special meeting of the board, it's a board meeting.
Okay.
So I think if you have the 1 subcommittee meeting and 1 full board meeting, or 1 meeting of the full board, how it's worded here, then you're covered.
Okay.
Because let's say that we do a policy here at the subcommittee, we say we need to get this in place immediately, you could call a special meeting of the full board to vet that 1 policy.
And 1 regular board meeting. Up to discussion. Now, do we have to specify which agenda in the second paragraph? At which policy proposals are first placed on the agenda? Do we have to be specific? Or
It's
can
2
we
weeks
just?
from the meeting, at which.
I mean,
Well, in that, you could put, followed by at least 2 weeks from the meeting at which policy proposals are first placed on the subcommittee agenda.
Okay.
And it has the wording in there too, where it says unless otherwise voted. So the way that's in there, the way I interpret that is that if it's on the subcommittee agenda, and at that subcommittee meeting, the subcommittee votes to move the policy sooner to the full board than the 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So it almost contradicts itself,
Yeah,
that wording, unless otherwise voted.
Where are you reading?
The last 3 words of the,
Oh, which, are you looking at the current policy?
yeah. See, the
Oh,
sentence
okay.
that starts with the final vote.
well, well, then why don't we just get rid of those 3 words?
We could.
Which one are you making corrections on?
I'm on our current.
Okay, you good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of those
Yep.
unless otherwise voted?
Which one? What do you like?
That one with all the, I mean, they're pretty much.
What were you saying that,
Sorry.
policy coming to the full board tonight? I don't,
No?
No,
Huh?
we don't have any tonight.
that's what you said.
No, just
No,
that
we can't.
on the first policy that we reviewed, just for clarification, that it wouldn't, you
No, we can't go on
made a
first.
motion to recommend policy BHE to the
Right.
full board,
Mhm.
and I said for clarification, not tonight, but the next
Right, okay,
full
all right,
board
all right.
meeting. So can I read back the
Mhm.
changes?
Yes, please.
So in the first sentence of policy BGB, it will read, except for policy actions to be taken on emergency measures, the adoption of board policy should follow this sequence, which will take place at least one subcommittee meeting and one meeting of the full board. And then it continues on. And then after 1, 2, 3, then the next sentence, the final vote to adopt or not to adopt should follow by at least 2 weeks from the meeting at which policy proposals are first placed on the subcommittee agenda, period. And those are the changes.
I make a motion to recommend that to the full board at the 11/6 meeting.
I'll second that. That's it?
I make a motion to adjourn. Oh.
Did you vote on it?
Yeah.
Bobby?
Did you vote on it? You said you
Yes.
make a
Yep.
motion, you said second, all in
Yeah.
favor?
Oh,
Okay,
aye.
sorry, I missed that.
I'm sorry, all in favor, aye.
All right.
There's only two of us, I apologize. If he makes it, I second it. I'm just,
Well, I'm just.
yep,
All right, so
okay.
who motioned to adjourn? Oh, did you guys adjourn yet? Sorry.
Well, made a I'll second the motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned till 5 o'clock.